moving forward, conversations with the new coach at Cornell. Moving forward now to Dartmouth. We're going to be joined by head coach Sammy McCorkle, also by linebacker Braden Mullen and quarterback Jackson Proctor. Should be joining us any minute now. We're continuing our conversations here. Ivy League Football Media Day. Coach McCorkle now is joining up with us. And Jackson Proctor is with us also. And we should, in a moment, have Braden Mullen. But in the meantime, Coach McCorkle, nice to see you, as always.
Jack, great to see you, my man.
Uh, and gentlemen, thank you also for joining us. Jackson and Braden, we'll get to you in just a few moments. But Coach, I will start with you if we can. And although we're looking forward to the 2024 season, I think it's just appropriate to take a look back. Because as you know, anybody involved with the Ivy League knows, Dartmouth had an extraordinarily emotional season. We start off with the loss of our good friend Coach Buddy Stevens, and then we finish up with Dartmouth staking a claim and sharing the Ivy League title. And I think it's fair to say not expected by a whole lot of people, but certainly expected by you. So give us a sense, if you will, before we look forward, looking back to that season last year and how it played out.
Yeah, Jack. First of all, I want to thank you for being the face and the voice of the Ivy League for all these years. We couldn't ask for a better individual. And then also thank Robin Harris and JJ for taking the time in their organization to putting this together today. This is huge for the Ivy League. And but yeah, just going back to last season, just it was definitely an emotional roller coaster. But I think it really showed the resilience of our program, our players, our team. But I think that was something that we learned and were taught by Coach Stevens. That's something that was part of his blueprint. That was part of who he was, part of his DNA. And we always talked about A&I, adjust and improvise. And but I just think it wasn't. I think the individuals involved it took a village. It really did, and the support that we received from all over, from other coaches in the Ivy League, from yourself, from the office of the Ivy League, it was phenomenal. And I can't thank our president Sion Bylock and our athletic director Mike Harity for what they've done for this football program and what they're doing for the athletic programs here at Dartmouth College. And also just the alums across the country. Everybody knows how passionate Dartmouth alums are. But it was just unbelievable just about how everybody stepped up and was a huge part of helping us. And we took it one day at a time. And that's what we did. We focused on each day. Not every day was easy. There were some really tough times, but I think the culture that has been built here at Dartmouth College, it allowed us to come together and really come together to focus on accomplishing our goals each day. And I have the best staff in the country, our coaching staff and our support staff, them being there and then being experienced, us being together as long as we've been together. That was a big part of it. That allowed us, everybody, to kind of know what we needed to do. And it was definitely the way the season ended. You couldn't ask for a better gift to give to the Stevens family for sure.
And I know they appreciate. There was, I should note, and of course you were there, but the university, Dartmouth College, did a just magnificent event in May, and it was a celebration of Buddy Stevens and his life. And I had the good fortune to be there, and it was an extraordinary event. And I've been to a lot of these, and I don't mean to diminish anybody else's, but I think the feeling that you got from that just underscores all the things you said. And it was most important for me. It truly was a celebration of Coach Stevens. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. And it just goes to show how many lives and how many individuals he touched. It really did. And it was a very special moment for all of us. And he'd never he wouldn't have liked all that recognition. He definitely would not have appreciated it. But it was just amazing, just the pouring of support that was received from everybody across the country. It was phenomenal.
I think it was a fantastic statement, certainly. especially on the heels of the championship season last year. So let me ask you to do what I've asked each of the coaches to do is just to give us just a couple of minutes of your thoughts as you look forward to this season.
Yeah, we're excited. I think our guys have had a really good off season. We talk about all the time in our program, taking care of the little things, attention to details, nothing's too small. And obviously, holding each other accountable. And those are the things that we really focus in the off season. Our players, we've got a lot of experience with our team. We've got a lot of guys who have the potential to be really good leaders, and they've proven that in the off season since last season. And we got a couple of those guys on here today. We're very fortunate to have. But I think the biggest thing that we try to accomplish is taking it day by day. Focus on that day, win that play. And having that sense of urgency of wanting to get to the next level. And we don't know what that next level is. But we are going to continue to work, to push, to find out where we can take this program, where we can take this football team. And whatever we do when it comes to whatever could be practice, working out, training, meeting time, is giving max effort and being focused, being locked in. And every opportunity you have to become a better player, every opportunity you have to become a better team, take advantage of it. Because they're short. There's not many opportunities out there, and you need to make sure that when those come across, you want to make sure you maximize it and give it your best effort. But we're super excited. Like I said, we're an experienced team. We got 27 seniors returning on our roster. We got 3 fifth-year guys coming back. And I'd say essentially close to about 75% of our roster have some type of playing experience last season. And that's where we feel like, we return offensively 7 of our 11 returners come back. Our O-line returns 3 of the 5 starters. Our running backs, we return 3 of our top 5 rushers. Quarterback, our leading passer is back. Wide receiver, once again, we return 3 of our top 5 receivers back. Paxton Scott, our leading receiver, is coming back. And defensively, Donnie Dobes and that staff does a phenomenal job. We return our second leading tackler, linebacker Danny Cronin, and then our top 2 leaders in sack, Braden Mullen and Josiah Green, return for us as well. And we also return 2 Phil Steele preseason All-Ivy players in the secondary with Sean Williams and Jordan Washington. And then with our special teams, Owen Zalk, our All-Ivy kicker. It's good to have him back and have him for a couple more years. But we know that's just, hey, what you did last year, it does not matter. It's all about what you do performing coming up this season. And we know we've got to prepare day in and day out to prepare for us in order for us to have success. But we're super excited about this season.
Yeah, and for good reason. Let me talk to a couple of those players that you have with you. Jackson, you first, if I might. And let's, in terms of the season, you often hear, especially coaches say, in some ways, it's harder to repeat as a champion than it is to win it that time. We've talked about the extraordinary season you had last year, both emotionally and on the football field, and they were intertwined, certainly. But from your perspective now, as Coach said, you're returning passing leader. From your perspective, what do you see as the strengths of this offense coming into this new season?
Yeah, well, again, thank you for having me. But yes, I mean, like Coach Max said, we're very experienced. And I think especially in collegiate football, that's a very important trait to have. And especially on our offense, we have 3 of our 5 offensive linemen coming back. We have Paxton Scott, a 5th-year receiver, a lot of receivers coming back that played significant time in the season last year. And so I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us, is just to lean on our leaders and the guys that have that experience, because they've been in those moments and they've been through, again, the adversity that we went through last year. And I think if we can just lean on them and trust what we've been doing in the past, I think we're going to be all right.
Let me ask about your experience in the past and then leading into this season. We mentioned that, as Coach said, you're returning the leading passer. Dartmouth offensively has done an interesting thing the last few years, in the sense that they've been able to take 2 quarterbacks and meld their talents. There are times when you would hear observers saying, well, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't really have any. And I think Dartmouth has been so extraordinary in the ability to say, look, we have two guys who have a lot of talent, so we're going to figure out a way to get them both on the field during the course of the game. It's been unusual, but it's worked for you guys over the years. But I'm curious in terms of the mentality, all right, of a quarterback. Uh, the idea of, and I don't think everybody could buy into this, every quarterback. But what did it take to buy into the notion that says, okay, there are two of us, and we're going to split some playing time here, but it's going to work for us.
Yeah, I would say winning football games. And I mean, we from the start, even when I was here, it was we were going to do what we had to do to win football games. And I think the quarterbacks bought into that and they understood that. And I think that's what helped us down the road, especially last season towards the end. And I think because we were able to buy into that and understand that this was what we had to do to win the game and play well throughout the season, we were going to do that. And each and every one of us were okay with that.
Yeah. Well, it does, it takes not only special talent that you all have, but it takes special mentality, as you said, a team mentality, and that's not always the case, but it's worked for you guys. Braden, from the defensive perspective, right? You're a veteran coming back here in terms of the leading the team as a tackler and as a team leader. Let me ask you the same question that I asked Jackson, but from the defensive side, which is what do you see as the strengths of this defense coming into this new season?
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Jack. I think our strength, like Proc said, like Coach Mack said, is definitely our experience. We're returning a lot of those starters as well on the defensive side of the ball. And that's just huge for taking it to that next step and big for that aspect of player-led accountability, where, maybe the coaches don't see everything, but it's about players holding each other accountable in the locker room, in the classroom, on the field, keeping everybody at that same level, at that same expectation, and just continuing to set the standard every day. And the experience on both sides of the ball really allows for that envelope to be pushed into the season that we want it to be. We know we left some on the table last year. So looking forward to it, building every day and taking it one day at a time.
So you talked about the defense. Let me get your perspective as a defensive player about your own offense. So you practice against these guys every day. You're dealing with them every day. As you've been working, in the winter and now in the summer, about ready to start in camp, give your scouting report, if you will, on this Dartmouth offense coming into the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a dynamic offense, and it's been nice to see the team rally behind Proc as our starting quarterback and really build his confidence, build the confidence around the entire offense. The O-line is an obvious strength. They're returning a lot of guys. All of the starters will have had experience. So that's going to be big for that side of the ball, protecting Proc, giving them some time to get it out to our receivers, and then the running back room as well. I mean, we got all sorts of backs in there that can run the ball. We're confident in every last one of them. So it's the scouting report, I'd say we're pretty confident in them. And as you were saying earlier, iron sharpens iron. So we saw that all throughout the spring, just continuing to push each other and keeping it within the bounds of practice, but pushing each other and just working to be a better team every day.
Yeah. Jackson, same question to you. Scouting report on your defense.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that comes to my mind is just toughness. I mean, we for years have been a very tough defense to play against, and it also doesn't help that teams have to come up to Hanover, New Hampshire and play, especially when it gets cold over here. So, the toughness is their number one thing, and whether that's up front, the linebackers, the coverage that's played behind. We have guys that are very intelligent and capable of doing it, but they're tough, and they're going to play every single snap to the end of the game, fourth quarter, overtime. It doesn't matter. And so, I mean, that is the biggest thing. And I mean, going back to spring ball, I mean, it's hard every single day, but I mean, that's the way you want it. Like you said, iron sharpens iron. And so, just again, leaning on those guys as well, just to get better on the offensive side of the ball. And again, just keep taking it day by day.
Yeah. Coach, let me come back to you for a second. I mentioned in the very beginning of this that the league's going to look a little bit different this year. We've got 3 new head coaches, 3 of the 8 on the field. Um, you've been in the league for a long time. Give me your perspective on that. And I think let me ask you to focus a little bit on Coach Murphy for 30 years on the Harvard sidelines, and now all of a sudden he's not going to be there, and 2 other new coaches at Cornell and at Columbia. Your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean it's great for the league. I mean it just makes it even more competitive. And all of those coaches they've been in the league, they know it, they understand it, they know the level of competition every Saturday is going to be high. They know the whole ins and outs of the recruiting aspect of it. And there's a lot of coaches in this league who worked for Coach Murphy. So they've been part of a very successful program. And but to me, it's just you've got to prepare yourself each day because on the other side of the ball they're doing the same thing. And but it's exciting. They're all great men. They're all great coaches, and they've are going to do phenomenal things for their program. And it's a super exciting time to be a coach in the Ivy League for sure.
I want to come back to something you said about your coaching staff, and we made this observation on the air many times. If you look at that coaching lineup at Dartmouth, what always gets my immediate attention is how long so many of those men have been there at Hanover and coaches at Dartmouth. What does that say to you? First of all, how important has that been to the success of Dartmouth football? And what does it say to you as a guy who was an assistant and then became the head coach about these people and about Dartmouth?
That's been huge. I mean, just the number of years of experience that we have on our staff from not just only being at Dartmouth, but other places in the Ivy League as well. They truly understand this league. And I think the biggest thing that has helped us be so successful is there's no egos here. We've got a lot of coaches on our staff who are, each position they coach have had a lot of success. But we leave egos at the door. And we all know we have a common goal, and that's to win. And but it really is nice to have those individuals. And we have a couple new coaches on our staff who bring a little bit of different perspective outside the league, and I think that's important to have as well. But no, I'm very fortunate and very blessed to be with a group of men who prepare our guys day in and day out, not only be the best football player, but be the best student, but more importantly, being the best man.
Well, it's a great place to live, great place to visit. I'm a little bit sad that this year our package has you all playing Friday, November 8th down at Princeton, but we're not going to have a chance to make the trek up to Hanover, which is always one of my favorite
We got to
trips.
renegotiate that next year, Jack.
I think we got to work on that. I agree with you entirely.
Thanks.
So Jackson, Braden, good luck to you all coming into this season. Look forward to seeing you play, as I said, on November 8th, and ESPN will be down there. And Coach, always good to see you. And please give my best to everybody up there, and we'll look forward to connecting during the season.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Jack.
Y'all
Thank you
take
for having
care
us.
now. Be well.